Dear students, in this video, we are going to discuss how sound produced by humans. In previous classes, we have learned that sound is produced by vibrating body. It means whenever we are doing any kind of effort on any object, then it get some vibrations and after that it can produce the sound. We have also learned in our previous classes that sound is a type of energy. That means sound form a energy. That's why the energy associated with the sound is known to be as a sound energy. In similar manner, when we try to understand how the sound is produced by the humans, in that case also by the nature we have got a mechanism in such a way that when we are doing effort on that mechanism, then with the help of that we can produce the sound. How the humans are produce the sound, to understand better, there are the figure has given to us. What are the figure? If you are going through the first figure, then that is the picture. In that picture you have given a voice box, which is also called the larynx. That is the side view of the larynx or voice box. In second picture, it is a top view of the larynx or voice box. What we have given in this structure? In humans, sound is produced by the voice box or larynx. That means what kind of mechanism nature provided us? This is the mechanism provided us. The name of that mechanism or mechanism is called voice box or larynx. This is we have provided by the nature. Now, how it is produced and where it has been situated in our body? It is situated at the upper part of the windpipe. If you just go through the first picture, then you can see that this is the larynx or voice box and it is situated at the upper end of the windpipe. Two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box, leaving a narrow slit. It means there are the two stretched vocal cords. That means here if you are going through from the top view, then these are the two stretched vocal cords. This is known to be the vocal cords. This one, this is first and that is your second one. These are called the vocal cords, and in that vocal cords there is a very little gap in it. If you are just go through the second picture, then there is a very little gap is there. This is the gap. If you are just look out, this is the gap is talking about. This gap is called the slit. It is called slit. Slit means the narrow opening between a narrow opening in an object, that is known to be a slit. Very narrow hairline gap, you can say that that is known to be the slit. When the lungs force air through the slit, it vibrates and produce sound. What is the meaning of that? It means that when the air is passing through from that gap, that means this is the gap from here. When lung through the air, that means from that gap when the lung through the air, then these vocal cords are vibrated. Vocal cords are vibrated means some vibrations are created into this vocal cord, and when then vibrations are created, then it can produce the sound. That means whenever we try to speak something, each and every time the vocal cords are vibrated, and in the result we are able to speak, or another words, we will say that we are able to produce the sound. So that is the basic description how we are able to speak, or in another word we can say that how we are able to produce sound. The most important part play in voice box or larynx, that is called the vocal cords. When the air is passed through from the vocal cords, then we are able to produce the sound. That is the basic mechanism by which how the sound is produced. Now we will move on to the activity, and that is the activity number 13.6. And with the help of that activity, we will identify how, or we will understand that how the vocal cords are doing functioning in a larynx or voice box. To understand better what we are going to do in that activity, according to the picture 13.9a, if we are going through the picture of 13.9a, where a girl is taking the two paper strips and the gap between them is very thin, and when she tried to blow air into it, then it produced the sound. So basically what we are required in that activity, take the two rubber strips of the same size. What we are going to do is we are taking the two rubber strips, or instead of that you can also take the two paper sheets. But here what we are going to do, we are taking the two rubber strip of the same size. Place these two pieces are one above the other and stretch them tightly. What we are going to do, we are taking the two rubber sheet and we are just stretch both of these rubber strips on each other and according to the figure, and we are try to just tightly stretch according to the picture shown to us. Like that girl is holding these two stretched rubber strips in it, and she hold it very tightly. Now what we are going to do after that, we need to be blow the air through the gap between them. That means there is a gap. If you are go through that picture, then there is a very little gap is created, very thin gap is there in between the rubber strip. It, you can say that we are creating a slit. There is a slit, a narrow opening or narrow gap between these two rubber strips, that is called the slit of these two rubber sheets or strips. Now what we are going to do, we are just try to blow the air through the gap between them, like the picture has shown to us. As the air blows through the stretched rubber strip, a sound is produced. Whenever we just try to blow the air, then when the air is passing through, that means this is also the area by which the air is passing through from it, then it can produce the sound. We can also take a piece of paper in such a way that we can make a narrow slit and hold it between our fingers as shown in figure 13.9.b. That activity can be performed by the paper also, like it has given to you the figure. In that figure what we have, there is a paper. We had to be folded like the paper which we have shown into the figure, and after that we are making a little opening in it. Here what we are going to do, we are making a little opening in it, and according to the picture, when we try to blow the air in between the gap, then in between your fingers we try to tightly hold, and after that when we try to blow the air between the slit, then in that case also we have able to hear the sound. So in a similar manner, like we have produced the sound into the two rubber strips, and when we blew the air in between them, then it produced the sound. And in second case also, the figure 13.9b is also explained to us that how the sound is produced in paper strip also. That is the basic functioning, or in another word we can say that is the basic functioning of the vocal cord. Here the two rubber strips which we are representing, they are, you can consider them, they are like the vocal cords. They are the vocal cords which situated in our voice box, and when the air is passes through from it, then it produces the sound. So in that way the vocal cord is vibrating, and when the vocal cord is vibrated, then it produces the sound. That is the basic functioning of the vocal cord. So from that activity we can easily understand how the air is through from the vocal cord and how the vocal cord is vibrated, and that vibrations are turned into the sound. That is the basic functioning of the vocal cord. Now there is a very interesting thing has given to us, that there are differences between the man, women and children voices. What is the reason why there is a differences between the sound of man, women and children voice? The reason is vocal cord. How the vocal cord is creating a difference between the voices produced by the man, women and children. The reason is vocal cord. The vocal cord in a man are about 20 millimeter long. That means the size or length, in another word if we are going to say, the size of the vocal cord is about 20 millimeter long. In women, these are about 15 millimeter long. In the women it is about 15 millimeter long, whereas children have a very short vocal cord. This is the reason why the voices of man, women and children are different. So from that point of view, we can easily say that why there is a difference between the voice of man, women and children, because there is a difference between the length of the vocal cord into man, women and children. That's why the man has got more loud voice, where women has got more shrill voice, and children has got more very shrill voice. That means they have got very shrillness in their voice, and the man has got a very loudness in its voice. The reason is the size of the vocal cord is play important role. In children, the size of the vocal cord is very short. That's why they have got a very shrill sound. So that is the reason by which we can conclude that the vocal cord is play a very important role, and because of that we have got the variety of sound. So in that way we can say that the humans produce the sound with the help of larynx or the voice box. In voice box or larynx we have got the vocal cords. When the air passes through the vocal cords, then they got vibrated, and when they got vibrated, then they can produce the sound. And the functioning of the vocal cord can be understood that when it is vibrated, then only it can produce the sound. And the size of the vocal cord also play a very important role. If the size is differed from man, women and children, that's why they all have got the different variety of sound. Now the next topic we are going to understand that sound needs a medium for propagation. Here we need to understand what do you mean by the medium. Here we want to understand that what is the medium. Medium means that sound can travel by different mediums. It means either by a solid, liquid or gas. Here the mediums are solid, liquid and gas. We try to find out how the medium is play a very important role, as we have got the three mediums, solid, liquid and gas, and later we will find out that in which medium that sound is propagated maximum. That means the speed of sound is maximum in which medium, either in a solid, liquid or a gas. First of all, we need to be understand that sound needs a medium or not for propagation. Propagation means for its movement or for traveling. That's why the word is used propagation. Propagation word always used for the waves, different type of waves. When they are in motion or when they are moving, they are said to be the propagation. To understand better, we try to understand an activity, what the activity has given to us. When we call up a friend who is standing a distance, your friend is able to hear your voice. How does the sound propagate or travel to her or him? That we can understand by a activity. What we required in that activity? We had to require a glass tumbler. Here you can see there is a glass tumbler we required, and we can also require a cell phone. There are the two things we are required in that activity. Number one, we have required a glass tumbler, and second, we have required a mobile phone. Now what we are going to do in that activity? We have to take a metal or glass tumbler. Make sure that it is dry. We have considered here that should be properly dried. Now in the next step, what we are going to do, we need to place a cell phone in it. Remember that the cell phone must not be kept in water. That is the caution we had to take care, that we should not place the cell phone into the water. So what is the first thing we are going to do? As you can see according to the picture, what are the first two steps we need to follow? We had to take a metal or a glass tumbler. After that, what we are going to do? We are just placing a cell phone in it. Then we had to call our friend that it give a ring on this cell phone. We had to put that cell phone on a vibrating mode. What we are also try to do here is that we had to place that into a ringing plus on a vibrating mode. As our friend is called on this cell, then it got vibrated and it produced the sound, and we try to listen the ring very carefully. What we are going to do, after placing that cell into the glass tumbler, we are saying our friend to ring on it, and when the cell phone gets started ringing, then we are able to hear the sound. Now surround the rim of the tumbler. What we are going to do is, in the next step, what we are going to do is surround the rim of the tumbler with our hand according to the figure 13.10. We try to put our mouth on the opening between our hands. What we are going to do, like the second picture which has shown to us, we are try to hold that tumbler with the help of our fingers, and we are just holding our hand at the opening of the mouth. That means we are try to just put that opening near to our mouth, as we have shown in that figure. Now again we are indicating our friend to give a ring again, and listen the ring while sucking air from tumbler. Now what we are going to do in that case, we try to just suck out the air with the help of our mouth. What we are going to do in the second step, we are just try to suck out the air from the tumbler and try to listen the sound. Try to listen the sound. When we try to listen the sound in that case, then we can find that the intensity of sound a little bit decreases. What we are trying to say in that activity, before sucking the air, when we try to hear the sound, then sound can be easily audible to us. But in the second case, when we try to suck out the air from the tumbler and try to hear the sound, then the intensity of the sound is little bit decreases. Why that happen? Why the loudness of the sound is decreases? The reason is because as we are sucking out the air, it can decrease the intensity of the sound. So from that activity, we can conclude that the air is also play a very important role. Now, what is the explanation we can given? Is it possible that the decreasing amount of air in the tumbler had something to do with decreasing the loudness of the ring? Indeed, we had been able to suck all the air in the tumbler. We will not listen any type of sound. Actually, what is the reason? The sound needs a medium to travel. When air has been removed completely from a vessel, it is said that there is a vacuum in the vessel and the sound cannot travel through the vacuum. So from that we can say that from that activity that to propagate or travel of a sound we needs a medium. As in that activity, when there is a proper air into the tumbler, then we are easily hear the sound. But as we are sucking out the air, then the intensity of the sound is decreases. So what is the reason? The reason is sound needs a medium. And what is the common universal medium in which the sound is propagate? The answer is air. When we are try to communicate to each other, or the different variety of sound we are hearing in our physical world, we are hearing the sound. Why? Because the air is present in our surrounding and air is provided a medium for the sound that it can travel from one place to another and we are able to hear the sound. So I hope you understand these concepts, how the humans are produce the sound and sound needs a medium. Thank you very much.